Okay, so now we're just going to talk through identifying some of the qualities of the substance in the eyes. So the substance in the eyes has properties of magnetism. It is able to produce heat and make kinetic movements with the eyes. So the magnetism appears to be, it's rounded or moving forwards or moving out of the eyes. I've described before that it feels as though the magnetism is magnetically drawn towards the image of the tablet or phone screen, but not in the same way as when the eyes are looking at a wall. There is an electricity that produces heat and light. So it's a very mild one. It's a very small electricity, and it's moving inside. It's smaller. It's smaller than that, but it is producing a heat which is hot and burning. So it's like in this photo here to say that it's actually painful. The next one is that the substance inside the eyeballs feels aerated. The gravity has been altered in the eyeballs, in the whole area. The density inside the eyes has a weight. It feels like both a liquid and an air at the same time. The fluid has movements, and it's both magnetic and electrical at the same time. It's malleable, meaning that it can move about. It has a hardness or firmness to it, which, I think that this means that it's got a whole shape structure to it, so it holds form. It's volume, excuse me, I've got a tooth plate in. Voluminous, able to increase or decrease in volume, which is to say that this sort of pressure feels like it can push forwards and it can expand or then also decrease. Eyes open with closed eyelids. When eyes are closed, the eyelids are black with the substance moving inside the eyes. So the substance here, it's moving inside here. The eyeball nerves are not released because it feels like this is, I think I say that later, yeah. The eyeball nerves are not released to lower the eyeball when the eyelids are closed, such as used to happen when sleeping, in meditation or in prayer. So, prior, this is all COVID period stuff. My eyeballs used to lower down and be in a rested state. But now this area is always held in fixed, directed into the eyelid. And the other thing is that during the day, if I close my eyes, there used to be some sort of coloration of sun, which might enter to this actual part of flesh. And it had, to the appearance of my eye, it had a fleshy colour to it. But now what's happened is whatever the substance is that's entered the tissue here, it's actually no longer letting light into this tissue or into the eyes. The nerves are pulled backwards and then pinned to hold the eyeballs in a fixed position. And then, this substance, the substance moves through this area into here and back. The substance can swirl in clockwise and anti-clockwise. The swirl can occur in one eye at a time or in both eyes. They can swirl with one eye clockwise and the other anti-clockwise. the swirl pattern causes hypnosis, creating the feeling of being trapped in thinking. So this is, supposed to be the way that eyes look. So it does one way, it does the other way, and then it does one way, and then back again. And it's causing a physical nausea, both in the eyeballs and then in the brain area. When I say physical nausea, I am fearful that it's actually because the particles are moving, and it's actually just causing extreme brain sickness. At one stage, I considered that it's both happening in the lenses, or the side black mirror lenses, or the front lenses, but it's then at the same time it's that the actual substance itself is moving in the swirl in the eye. This is COVID period stuff in the last, at least 4 years. This is a substance in eyes. The substance in the eye is programmable. The substance is programmable and interacts with the software program which codes the substance to perform intuitive actions. The substance generates sensations which create the feeling of mental presence and cognition in the eyeballs. But not in the brain. So it's the actual presence of the self. Maybe overstimulation of the eye area is that it's creating the cognition in the eyeballs. The substance travels between the eyes and the brain. The substance somehow interacts with thoughts. Here, I've already drawn it, so I guess I'm repeating myself, but it's just the same. It's now we're actually this internal mass of something that's moving, whereas before we were doing the black mirror spots, and possibly that this back area is a net or a mesh or screen of nano, which an image is then created on as if we are seeing it ourselves. I've already described the dots inside it, but it's also then the way that the smaller particles move, which is creating this sort of like magnetic cloud. And that they seem to pop in and out of existence, even though that's not necessarily true. It's more that they're just rapidly bouncing, but the appearance is as if they pop in and out of existence when eyes are closed. And there's multiple colours. And then this whole area is electrically charged. So it seems to have this, it's like a pulsating current moves through to the eyeballs. And this is, magnetically and electrically charged. It's causing damage to the eye area down here, as well as the tissue there. And then the skin. The substance has interfered with crying. It's producing tear-like cry inside the eyeball rather than from the tear duct. So this is to say that somehow, instead of the signaling indicating that cry is coming out of the tears, it feels like this substance, electromagnetically charged substance, is pushing through the eyeball. there's an error in signaling sent through nerves around the eyeballs. Another way to describe it is that, I've called it nanodust. So it's nano size, it's extremely small, and it is a dust. In the eyes appears as an energy. It has qualities like a vapor or a mist or liquid air. The nanodust images that appearing as if the human brain's conscious awareness has entered a deep meditation or is in a hypnagogic hallucination. So this occurred over a period of a few months. I speak about this in depth later on, which is that I thought that I was meditating, and I thought that I was just experiencing these normal movements of this energy stuff that was actually, I thought at that time, I thought that it was in my brain. And I didn't know anything about nanotechnology or technologies or anything like that this even existed. So I believed that what I was looking at was just a part of my brain matter during meditation in my, conscious awareness. But then there's the possibility that it's this like artificial energy that's entered our bodies, and it's programming. It's a programmable matter, which is producing a type of hypnagogic, which means it's like a very fine grey dust, and the shape or the picture is sort of half there, but it's not. So you can't really you could make meaning from it if you wanted to. You could say, oh, well, that's a flower. But it also sort of doesn't exist like that. So it was over a period of a few months. The images went from being pretty much nothing to becoming full-on hallucinations, programmable hallucinations, including showing intensive life cycles or light work and stuff like, not light work, lights and all these things. So it's also that the hallucinations became repeated images, actions that loop over and over. So what we've been reporting is that that hypnagogic energy is actually producing images, which is graphic sexual violence or sex acts with extreme physical and physical abuse, including just obscene things, like a man physically removing a woman's brain and then penetrating her skull with an erection. So it's like extreme sexual violence. And the images that can appear holographic, as if they're forming in this matter space here. They're not one-dimensional. They seem 3D and, interactive with each other. So one possibility is that the actual software had to program bits of images in at a time to adjust our brains to what we were seeing so that we would believe it. This appears 3D, and it appears that it's happening in the space, in a space within the eyes. This is also that it's interactive with thoughts. So while the hypnagogic hallucinations are occurring in the electrically magnetically charged substance, it's also I've written the nanotechnologies and screens are interactive with thoughts. This relationship between the eyes and inner talk can be like inner brain. I'll try and change the not red, like an inner the self or inner talk occurs, and then it appears as an image, or like I've written image to inner talk, which is to say it was the other way around, which is that an image occurs and then it speaks in the head, inside the skull, inside our brains. And then it's inner talk to image, inner talk with inner talk producing image or video. This is to say that in the past I used to just have a self-thinking, whereas now the software program talks to me or as me, so it will produce a thought and then it will produce a thought in response, and then it produces images at the same time. So it could be like, go buy a coffee and then also get a sandwich at the same time. So you go buy a coffee, get a sandwich, and then it produces an image of the coffee and the sandwich. The inner talk to non-image, such as light, colour, dots, lines, inner talk to symbol or words to inner talk as well. There's the inner talk to non-image, such as lights, colours, dots, lines. I think that was part of programming cognition, or not just inner self-talk, but that they actually were coding our visual cognition by using effectively spreadsheets or images to represent and create a relationship of communication between the technology in the eye and our brains.